And I have a hat.
That's a great looking hat.
Session swag.
We just want to crush your spirits now. There will be no June van sessions, so plan your life accordingly.
I have a weekly happy, in case you're sad about this. Wolf puppy. Yeah.
So I have good news. I just, I needed some time off. All right.
Well, shady, define shady.
Tree covered.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we bring the sketchy.
We are 2 weeks away, I believe, from the Ogden Marathon.
Holy smokes.
Time to start training.
I was just
History was made.
Very few athletes will make you feel more sloth-like.
Listen, if he drove to Snowbird and had a beer 96 times, I'm okay with that too. I guess at least he's doing something.
I'm impressed
Yeah.
with ever.
Either way.
Whichever.
Either way, I'm impressed.
So I lived in Vegas for a little while. There's such a temperature difference between inside and outside. 3 different times, elderly women, no judgment there, walking out of the grocery store, hit the wall of heat and just went down.
That is wild.
And just sort of just crumbled down. It was just that wall of heat.
Oh, man. This is bad news. Heli-Doping. Yeah, it's hella wrong if you ask me.
Oh, I saw what you did there.
You haven't lived until you've heard the show Americans are talking about. The show that launches its listeners to the height of humanity. The audio hour that travels the landscape of adventure. The sound that comforts more than the clip of your first bolt. It's the Ogden Outdoor Adventure Show.
We're Outdoor Adventure Summit's the airwaves. This is the Ogden Outdoor Adventure Show. I'm your host, Brandon Long. I'm belay with you, I don't know, 40, 30, 40. It's not gonna
I think it's going to be somewhere between the two.
Yeah, I'm belay with me for the ride is the best co-host in all the land, Todd at the top. Todd, how are you?
What? Oh, good.
What?
That was my way of saying
Okay,
that.
yeah.
Hey, good to see you, buddy.
Good to see you. We're hanging out in Banyan 1, inside the Monarch building, in the heart of the Nine Arrows Arts District. And on this week's podcast, we have a weekly happy, including a wolf puppy.
Oh,
on the docket. I couldn't find much. So these are like big events. So I just found some big events to just put on the docket, literally on the docket for your summer.
perfect.
In the news, including Nordic Valley Ski Village, Ironman History, 96-year-old skis a lot, Temp Drop in record time, Sherpa breaks an Everest summit record. It's Everest season, so we have Everest Deaths and Heli-Doping. Worth watching, including the Desert Swell. That's freaking cool. Gear 30 segment with Chacos and Santa Cruz. Myland segment with Ogden and our water shortage issues, along with the Ivory-Billed Woodpecker. Is it...
It's about time we get them some attention again.
I understand, and because is it no more? Is the Ivory-Billed Woodpecker in existence?
Say it ain't so. Say it ain't so.
We don't know, or do we know? We don't know.
This is a straight up tease.
Quote of the week and an outdoor jukebox. So all this and more on Ogden Outdoor Adventure Show episode 390, Heli-Doping. So let's charge.
Summits with the agility of a mountain goat, flashes routes faster than UPS, is more intimate in the mountains than Jake Gyllenhaal. He's Todd to the top.
Todders, we are fresh off another fantastic van sessions. I have a hat.
That's a great looking hat.
Session swag. So thanks for designing the hat.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
Another really good lineup.
Yeah.
FYI, we just want to crush your spirits now. There will be no June van sessions, so plan your life accordingly. There will still be an amazing art stroll, so still come by the Monarch, but keep your expectations here.
Yeah.
No van sessions.
No van sessions.
But we'll be back strong in July with our boys, and of course Carrie Myers as well.
Yes, the boys and Carrie, I
But,
guess.
the Proper Ways show is coming up. It's just around the corner. We always look forward to that. And special guests.
Really?
Yeah, so that means just
So proper way with special with
musicians, yeah.
is that proper way with unconfirmed special guests?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but it'll be a super fun night. So that'll make up, hopefully, for being gone in June. So
Yeah, I'm really sorry about that. It's my fault. I'll be in Disneyland. I'll be thinking about you.
that'll be a fun trip. We'll get by. We'll get by.
I have a weekly happy. In case you're sad about this, I have a weekly happy. I'll just go ahead and press play here. You go ahead and tell me if you can hear. Oh, wait. I accidentally pushed the mute button. Let's bring it back. Here we go. Wolf puppy. It is a wolf puppy.
Oh, my God.
First howls. Yeah. He's looking for his mom. That's a lot of howling for...
I think Mom was super happy the day before of that first howl.
I was trying to share the screen and it was just not. Everything... Oh, yeah. So every time I share the screen... Oh, I see what you're going to... Okay. Oh, I can't share the screen today, just so you know. This has been a bad share the screen day. I was trying to share the screen. It's not working out.
We're just going to have to use our words
We have to
create
a podcast.
pictures.
Yeah. All right, on the docket.
I'm going to start the docket today.
Oh, good. Yeah.
So I have good news.
I'm struggling, so you start the docket.
No, I have some good news. And so it's official. Arts in the Parks is back this summer. And so we
have a magazine around here for that somewhere.
Yeah, I'll be passing out some of those activity books that I did up for last year. But we are hitting up 5 area Ogden City parks starting June 6th through the 10th. And so if you've never been to an Arts in the Parks before, essentially we set up art activities. It is a partnership with Ogden City School District's Nutrition Services Program, and so kids can come get some lunch in the parks. They will be setting up in 3 or 4 different parks. We're setting up in a total of 5 parks this year. And so we'll set up for 5 days of activities in, for instance, I have the locations as well. So June 6th through 10th at Lauren Farr Park. June 13th through 17th, we're at Monroe Park.
Lauren Farr's famous.
Lauren Farr.
Lauren Farr's famous, yeah.
We'll come back to that because I want to hear a little bit more about Lauren Farr. June 20th through 24th, we're at Mount Ogden Park in the backyard. That's a great one.
Yeah,
I like that park too. June 27th through July 1st at 4th Street Park, and wrapping things up July 4th through the 8th, and we will not be set up on the 4th of July. So you stay home on that day.
Clarification,
So no activities on the 4th. But anyway, we'll be at West Ogden Park, which I enjoy that park as well. And so essentially you can come get some food. You can do some art activities. We set up for a week at a time. And so if you come every day, it's different activities every day. So for instance, and these are still being sort of confirmed, I believe Monday, Deja is coming with her drum circle. So you can get some music and dancing in. I believe Tuesday, and again, I'll confirm this, I believe Tuesday is our storytelling day. And so you kind of get a sense of things. And so Wednesday might be a puppet and theater day.
Wow.
Thursday might be, fingers crossed, a couple of years ago, we were able to confirm the Ballet Folklorico women from Weber State. So hopefully we can get them coming out again. And then Friday will probably be like a visual art type day, like strictly sort of visual art day. And so 12 to 1 o'clock, come do some art. And then what's great about this program is that it is sort of our sister program is Science in the Parks. And so our dates that I just gave you, Science in the Parks will be 1 week behind me. So you get essentially 2 weeks of programming.
Do you lead off?
I lead off. Yeah. And they'll close things out.
Okay.
Yeah. And so you get a little science activities the week after we're there. So I will remind you every week sort of as we approach, but just know that we are back. We took off the last 2 summers for, I needed some time off.
I understand.
There was nothing else going on in the world.
No,
was just lazy.
But Todd
just
had
straight lazy.
Other things to do.
Yeah. Disneyland for 2 years.
Wow, that would be amazing.
But anyway, we're back after 2 years of being gone.
Lauren Farr, Sandlot.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's a great park.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like that park. It's a good shady park. Most of these parks are
well, shady, define shady.
Yeah, exactly. Tree covered.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Not like shady.
Yeah.
Sketchy.
Yeah, we bring the sketchy. With the sketching, the crayons.
I see.
Yeah.
I see. What about We talked maybe briefly, but not enough because it wasn't serious. But podcasting in the park.
Podcasting.
I wonder if there's a way to pull that off.
Yeah, I think we could do that. We just gotta. We need to check our goal 0. See what the charging unit
True
is
that.
for this
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
And see if we have too much for that now, or we could just keep it really simple and just bring the little recorder
Yeah, the little battery operated.
and kind of go small guerrilla style.
Yeah, we could totally do that. And we could do that. I have multiple mics. They just want to hear their voice on and bring a speaker.
Yeah.
Because they want to hear their voices on mics. Anyway, keep that in
Could be
mind.
kind of fun. Yeah.
Podcast in the park. Okay.
For the kids.
For the kids.
Content for the kids.
Seriously, most kids see a mic, they want to talk on it.
They're like,
Let's be real.
I could use that, but I have, they have to think about, of course, their YouTube page. Does it fit in with the content and their brand? I don't know if it fits in
I
with
like
my
that they're
brand.
thinking about this at 7, 8, 13. Yeah.
Yeah, this isn't really part of my brand, but I do know the right person for you, and then they give us that person.
Mm-hmm.
That's really funny. We go to them for help.
We probably should. They know more about this stuff already. At least my daughter does. It's killing me.
Oh, she's doing great.
Yeah. I Love the Awesome on YouTube if you haven't checked it out. I Love the
Oh,
Awesome
her
on
videos
YouTube.
are crack me up. She's a natural.
She really is pretty good. So, I mean, the editor is pretty good too.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. It's good to know people.
So we are 2 weeks away, I believe, from the Ogden Marathon.
Holy smokes.
Time to start training.
I was just going to say at least one more week, and then you're going to have to dig in.
And then, okay, so a little bit more heads up. The Doce mountain bike race, which is just a big party up at Powder Mountain, is July 16th. So if you want to, oh, weird. What are you drinking, Todd? Yeah, camera. There it is. Yeah, Doce. And then wait, what am I drinking? I think it's a
Doce is
Roosters. Yeah, Doce. So
probably completely unrelated, but we're throwing it in there.
yeah, no, it's for the race, Doce. That was not on. We did not even plan that. Although Van Sessions is sponsored in part by a generous contribution from Roosters Brewing.
It's a tasty beer. I like this.
It's back for summer. Yeah,
It's a good summer beer.
And the race is actually July 16th. And
It's
then
a good summer race.
yeah.
Before it starts getting too hot.
Yeah, because this one I MC the finish line, the Skyline Mountain Marathon, and in Eden, where it's supposedly 10 degrees cooler than Ogden, but it's on August 13th, and let's just say it's not a nice cool day in Eden on August 13th. Ever. Is it ever? And
And it feels like they start super early.
They start super early. They start like super early. So that's like it's the marathon, and then I think he's got a 50K on there and a half marathon as well. There's some options. So if you like the trail running, keep August 13th in mind. It's a fun one, but we make the finish line fun. So if you get to the finish line, you'll have a good time. So, yeah. Okay. In the news, Nordic Valley they've approved. So we had Clay on, who's the race director for Skyline Mountain Marathon. He lives or is building up there. And he said, his family, I think, has lived up there for a long time. But, he had some input saying it's always kind of a mess up there as far as what new growth goes. Which working up there for a few years ago, I realized, there's a lot of passion around real estate up in the valley and, how it should be built and that kind of stuff. So the big news is, though, this is according to standard.net, a planning panel has approved the zoning-related changes for the proposed Nordic Valley Ski Village, a project that's generating some controversy among Ogden Valley residents. The Ogden Valley Planning Commission voted 6-1 Tuesday, this was last Tuesday, in favor of text amendments to the zoning ordinance and county land use code for creating a Nordic Valley Village area. Okay, they had to compromise. They wanted like a hotel. I think they nixed that, but they are putting in condos and commercial space, and they had to minimize how many they were putting in, and then they wanted a certain height of those condos, and they had to lower it, so they lowered the height to keep the views, So there were some compromises made, but it is approved and it will be moving forward. So you will see a little condo ski village up there by the Nordic Valley in the coming years. FYI.
Whoop, whoop.
And if you didn't know, history was made at the historic Ironman Triathlon in St. George
Oh, nice.
this weekend. It's the first time that the event was held outside of Hawaii. And it was held in the World Championships were held in St. George, Utah. I'm going to reach out to, I do know someone from Ogden who competed in that, and finished, which was amazing. The winner, though, it's unreal. It's it's the World Championships. Let's see, is it Christian Blumenfeld made sure 2 items of history occurred. So he's Norwegian. The Norwegian was the first person to cross the finish line Saturday, finishing with a time of 7 hours, 49 minutes, 16 seconds, and he's the fastest. And in the process became the first person to ever win an Olympic gold medal and Ironman within a year of each other after he won the Summer Games in Tokyo last July. 28-year-old Blumenfeld won by almost exactly 5 minutes, which is an eternity, on Saturday. By far a larger separation than anyone else in the top 10 from their next closest finisher. Canada's Lionel Sanders edged out New Zealand's Braden Curie for second. On the women's side, Switzerland's Daniela Riff continued her dominance of the sport. Again, this is the Deseret News is writing here, by winning her 6th world championship. That's a lot, with a time of 8:34. So it's pretty cool that it was held in Utah. A couple of things that were different is, well, one big thing was that instead of swimming in the ocean, they swam inland, not in an ocean. And the ocean's actually a little bit more buoyant. And in Hawaii, the water is warmer. So it was colder and less buoyant in St. George, which affected people's swim times, I guess. But outside of that, made the news all over the place and was pretty cool. So
Hawaii to St. George.
They're very similar. Yeah. I mean, you've spent time
It's like
in
a
both.
close backup.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if they were looking for another city or if they just got lured away.
I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't look into it. I'm not a huge. I think
It's just such a different city.
Yeah,
It
well,
just makes you wonder the story, the backstory there.
I don't know. I do.
Well, hopefully you can get hold of that person that did it. They probably know.
Yeah. I'm supposed to reach out to him this week. It's a unreal feat to do what they do, but anyway.
No. Very few athletes will make you feel more sloth-like and just like less of like, oh, look what they could do with their bodies, right? Those athletes are amazing.
I mean, most people feel good about competing one of the 3 events that they do.
Or you do your fundraising 5K and you feel pretty good about it.
Yeah, no, I emceed the 5K at the Ogden Nature Center this weekend. I felt pretty good.
Good for them.
I felt good about sitting in the van watching everybody else run. Made me happy.
These Ironman athletes, oh my gosh, it's a whole other breed.
No, I feel pretty lazy, thanks. Ironman finishers. It's ridiculous. And this guy, this guy makes me feel lazy too. 96-year-old Utah skier racks up, guess how many days of skiing? Matched his age, 96 days of skiing. This according to unofficial networks. Can't get enough of 96-year-old Junior Buenos, who skied his age in days this season at Snowbird. You would think Junior would call it quits after reaching his goal. You'd be wrong. He blew past his 96th day on the slopes and considers it motivation to continue for years to come. I love that. That's amazing.
Now, that's him on the mountain, not just up at the lodge having a beer.
Yeah, well, listen, if he drove to Snowbird and had a beer 96 times, I'm okay with that too. I guess at least he's doing something.
I'm impressed with ever.
Either way.
Whichever.
Either way, I'm impressed. Okay.
Good for him.
We had a storm come through here yesterday.
Yeah.
It snowed.
Last night.
It freaking snowed. Well, in Denver, the temperature dropped 19 degrees in 3 minutes on Saturday night. In 3 minutes. Wouldn't that feel eerie? Sitting there outside at 80. It was 87 degrees, and then it dropped to 68 over a 3-minute period. The National Weather Service later responded to a tweet stating, "As far as we can tell, this is correct. Denver did see a 19-degree drop in approximately 3 minutes."
Okay, so here's my story on that.
Okay.
And I probably told this story before. So I lived in Vegas for a little while. My parents lived down in Vegas. And so you probably have gone through that sort of temperature change if you live or spend some time down in Vegas, even within the casinos themselves. And so
Well,
three different times.
Yeah.
While
Oh,
lived
I remember.
down there.
I think you took. Yeah, I remember.
So
this
three
story.
different
It's
times
crazy.
I witnessed it, right? Just in my car waiting to go inside or whatever it was. And so I was parked in front of a grocery store, like, I don't know, Smith's or whatever. And
When you say parked, you weren't parked. You were like waiting.
right, I was waiting or whatever it was, yeah. And so I remember being in my car. And so there's such a temperature difference between inside and outside, especially during the summer months, because if you spend time down in Vegas, you know how cool they keep things inside. In the casinos, in the stores, in the grocery stores in particular, right? They keep them very cool. And so that temperature difference can be 60 degrees, 50 degrees, right? Between,
Wow.
say for instance, it's 68 or 70, and if it's 120 outside, right? And so 3 different times, elderly women, all 3 times, no judgment there. It just so happened to be walking out of the grocery store, hit the wall of heat, and just went down.
That is wild.
And just sort of just crumbled down. It was just that wall of heat.
Yeah.
And so, I can imagine because of that, like that's my experience with that.
Yeah.
Is that incredible temperature change. In fact, people who live in Vegas or spend a lot of time down there, because even if it's 120 outside, if they're spending any amount of time inside, say you're going to a movie or something like that, like you always bring a sweater or like a
That's
light
so
sweater.
weird. Huh.
Because it's so cool inside.
Yeah.
And there's such a temperature difference, right? But that's crazy storm though. And did you say that was in Denver?
Denver, 19 degrees and 3
But
minutes.
just
Yeah.
be there.
Well, and because you say that, and I don't know if it works in reverse, where if it's hot and then it gets cold really fast, that would be the opposite of what you're
Just
talking
creep
about.
me out. You're just like, okay, we're gonna get hit.
Yeah. But
That
it would
had
be.
to happen for us. I mean, that was pretty drastic. I mean,
No, how hot was it yesterday? 60, 50, 58,
'cause,
60?
I mean, it dropped to 30s.
Yeah, overnight. And it's freaking woke up to snow. I thought we were going to get away with no snow which I don't really care if it snows. But the weather said it was going to snow, and then
I
went
assumed it'd be at the top, like just up in the
up at the mountains. Well, at about 10 o'clock, I went to bed, and I was like, yeah, I think the storm blew by or whatever.
It had to have started not too long after that. I wasn't up too late, and I saw it. Like I saw it start to come down.
Yeah, and it snowed
It snowed.
in May,
It was
which is great.
it was quite the storm.
Which is great. Well, we need it. We'll talk about that
Yes,
later. Sherpa summits for Everest. Oh, it's Everest season, by the way. Everest time. In Everest news, Sherpa summits Everest for a record-breaking. You want to know how many times he summited Everest? I mean, most people want to do it once, and we'll talk about that here in a second too, because that's.
Oh, I want to know what that number is.
So Rita.
It's a high number.
His name is Rita Sherpa. It's not Rita Sherpa, which a lot of times it's Rita. Oh man, where's his full name? Oh, Kami Rita. Kami Kami Rita has summited. Okay, more than 20, less than 50.
42 times.
Yeah, that was bad. I cheated. It was 26 times.
Jeez,
26 summits of Everest.
that's work.
That is a lot of work. He's 52 years young.
I mean, that's just his job.
It is.
I'm meaning that's impressive. Like that's an incredible job.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy. So there's that. Now, we're getting into, okay, two climbers have already died, though, this season. In fact, three have died. So on Snowbrains, when they wrote this article, they said 2 died. Pavel Kostrikin, 55, died after falling ill while acclimatizing below the summit at Camp 1. He fell ill at Camp 2 and died after being taken back to Camp 1. It was the second fatality on the Nepal side of Everest this climbing season. let's see, Nepal climber Najimbi Tenjay Sherpa 38, who was carrying equipment uphill, was found dead on the mountain on April 14th. But there was a third. So if you really want to follow Everest news, you've got to go follow Alan Arnett's blog. He lives up there during the season, and then he blogs about the season. He's won awards for being the person who
so he's the
blogs
Everest
about
influencer.
it. Really is an Everest influencer, and he raises a bunch of money for Alzheimer's disease through his blog and what he does up there. Now, he said there's actually 3 people who died, and I believe him because he's there. So now, helicopters. Are they helping or hurting? Oh, man, this is bad news. So I read this whole thing. It's very interesting. Go to Alan Arnett's blog, alanarnett.com, and read the whole thing. But heli-doping, in other words, okay, here's the quotes. It's the Oswald Aussie Ferrier, who is currently guiding on Everest, posted this provocative article, heli-doping. Heli-doping. Every season, I ask myself the same question. To what extent is it ethical to climb Everest at the expense of others? What qualifies as quote-unquote climbing? And what can be seen as doping or quote-unquote performance enhancing? Is it okay to go from 3 preparatory rotations up the mountain to only 1 with comparatively little time at altitude only because someone will carry extra oxygen tanks, allowing for high flow climbing? ? Is enabling climbers with previous experience to climb okay just because we can better manage the risks with technology and thereby skip adequate preparation? ? Are we turning magnificent helicopter pilots into high altitude chauffeurs, using and abusing helicopters to move around Everest, especially to the high fields? I have witnessed cases of heli-doping where climbers opt to skip/fly over something as emblematic as the Khumbu Icefall. I have seen clients push to the limit of exhaustion with little thought, since they can be easily rescued from C2, Camp 2, by helicopter. Heli-doping. Up until what point is it ethical to use any resources available to step on the summit instead of actually climbing the mountain? ? And this is it's an interesting question, because there are people who will use it on their resume. They'll say, yeah, I climbed Everest. I'm a speaker. I'm a keynote speaker. I climbed Everest. And they took a heli past the Khumbu Icefall, and they had somebody carry everything up, and all they had to carry was their own oxygen. You know what I mean? And so it's like, what are the ethics, and who can count it, and who's going to call you on it? And if you're going to use it as a resume builder or something, which, then
Seems to me that you could probably make the comparison for a lot of those climbers, kind of quote unquote, is that it's you got all the money in the world, you enjoy going outside. You want to do this before you do the space tourist, which is probably next. You pay a little extra, you can get in orbit, and then you come right back down again. And so I wonder I'm sure that plays into it. It's a privileged climbing, it's definitely,
which sucks, because there's actual mountaineers who don't have money and they just like to climb, and they have it as a tick list on like something they would like to summit, and then this is a long article before this little excerpt here about the helicopters, but there's so many helicopters that it is a noise pollution in and around the mountain up there, and they will fly back to town so that they don't have to stay in base camp, and they'll stay in like a 5-star hotel, heli back up. Like, it's not, because they can, because they have the money. And then there's also in this article, and this is bad, where, what do you call them? The guide groups, I guess, would put a laxative in food, and so their customers would get diarrhea, and then they would say, okay, we need to fly off the mountain, and then claim that as a rescue for insurance purposes, and I have to pay it. And so now we're dealing in fraud, in collecting, like, there's all kinds of weird stuff going on. Heli-doping. Yeah, it's hella wrong if you ask me.
Oh, I saw what you did there.
Oh.
That was worth the whole story right there. And I think that that true adventurer / climbers / would agree with you. I would hope that they would agree with you. That's just taken advantage of.
Hope so.
I have the same thoughts when it comes to helicopter rescues everywhere, anywhere, as far as putting those pilots in danger, if you're not prepared to do whatever it is that you do, right? Accident's an accident, but I mean just simply not being prepared, right?
Well, are we? Yeah, I mean, I go into the backcountry thinking like, okay, I'm on my own. Like, no one's gonna haul my ass out. And I'm assuming there's a lot of people who go on expeditions and stuff thinking like they can be reckless because they'll just call for help and they'll be fine.
I'm sure it passes through people's heads.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've heard from ski patrol up at my friends who work ski patrol, which I have a few. There's plenty of people who will call ski patrol while on the mountain who just don't have enough energy to ski back down the hill.
They want to ride down?
They want to ride down. I mean, that's so, I don't know.
That's a big story. I'm glad somebody wrote about that, though.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Heli-Doping.
Heli-Doping. Well, I would share my screen, but it's not working out. So we'll just play this music here. And this gives you an idea.
Take us through it.
All right, a little hypnotic edit from the folks at Carver Skateboards featuring Adorado Papa and Val LaForge. Val's a hottie. Eldorado doesn't like shirts, so he's got jeans and no shirt,
It's hot.
But beautiful,
hot.
beautiful people. Yes, absolutely beautiful people. And she's wearing like corduroy short shorts and a bikini top. And they are surfing on their skateboards, desert swells at an undisclosed location near Barstow, California. And it is an amazingly built skate park bowl thingamajigger it looks like a wave in the desert. And it's a great edit from Carver Skateboards, so it is definitely worth watching and really want to find where this park is. And she's skating barefoot. That tells you that. What you're up against there.
It's a Coachella skater.
Yes.
All about looking right, too.
And he's got his Vans and jeans, but no shirt. And it's just a very well done ad for Carver Skateboards, essentially. But and good music here. So anyway, that is
Carver Skateboards.
Carver
for you,
Skateboards,
particularly if you're very attractive.
Yeah, I think you have to reach a certain attractive level before you buy one. Apparently, I don't know. Just
you too.
Throwing it out there. Okay, well, that's worth watching. I have it on there twice. Gear 30 segment. We have the Chacos. So we do have the Chacos. We have men's Z2 classic sandals. This is at gear30.com. Gear 30 here in Ogden. If you're local, come into the shop. We got the Chacos. Last year, because of supply chain issues, we got like Chaco drip. They would send us a Chaco. And then a few days later, they'd send us another Chaco. And then they would send us another Chaco. It was very bad. We got all the Chacos, though, now. So we have the Z Clouds, Z2s. We have the Chillo slides, if you're into the slides. We have the classic Z1s. And we have the Lowdown slide sandal, which is a little more, it's almost a combo between the slide and the sandal. So options. And,
color choices as well?
Yeah, well, quite a few. Bump into the women's and see what we have on the women's side. Oh, none in that collection. Let's go women's. Oh boy.
Those will sell.
Sandals.
People want to spend some time outside.
There's more options for women's. Women's Mega Z Cloud Sandal. Z1, Z2 in different colors. We have some Chillos flip-flops for the ladies. They're good looking. It's like a peachy sand color. Also have the low down slide. Yeah, so that's good. Lots of options for you Chaco lovers out there.
I would recommend grabbing them though.
Well, do, because they always sell out. And we can't, the crappy thing about COVID, I guess we will blame COVID and the supply chain and all that kind of stuff, is we can't reorder stuff. Like, we placed orders a year ago and they sent us the order, and so we have what we have. And so when we sell out, we sell out. We can't, like, there are some smaller brands. We recently brought in Tiny Tenkara and we sold out the one size already, and we're placing another order because they're smaller and they can fulfill those. But bigger companies that sell lots of stuff, once they're going to send us what they have, and then once we have it, that's it. So Santa Cruz recalls Heckler 9 e-bikes for fire and fall hazards. If you have a Santa Cruz Heckler 9 e-bike, check the recall information. On May 5th, the California brand announced a recall of the Heckler 9 e-bikes. It identified as dangerous to users. In short, the e-bike's batteries can it's not good, dude. They can fall off without warning, which is not good, while the bike is in motion, or just simply catch fire. So you could be a hot biker, I guess.
So just check that out.
Yeah, this sun is so bright. It's like, there. Yeah, according to the U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission, the latch mechanism that holds the battery in place can malfunction. And if that happens, the battery can detach from the frame, potentially dropping the bike and the rider, and or it can cause additional wear and the battery housing over time, resulting in a fire hazard. So if you got the Santa Cruz bike, check your labels on there. All right, so my land segment. Oh, my lands. Ogden officially declares a water shortage. Ogden water shortage declaration comes amid efforts, this is according to the Standard Examiner, to incentivize water-wise landscaping. So the mayor, Mike Caldwell, signed a declaration moving the city into phase 2 of the water shortage management plan following a unanimous vote by the city council on Tuesday. All right, so where are we at? The snowpack is currently sitting at 65% of the median for the period of the year. It snowed last night, but we didn't have a big winter.
It wasn't that kind of snow.
Yeah. 65% of the median for this period time of year, and Pineview Reservoir storage is half full, 52%, compared to 74% just a couple years ago in 2020. So that's not good. Guidelines effective immediately under the mayor's declaration on the water shortage plan include no outdoor irrigation between 10 a.m. and 6 p.m. So you got to water before 10 a.m. or after 6 p.m. with a limit of 2 days per week, 20 minutes per irrigation for pop-up sprays and 40 minutes for rotors. Everyone's going to abide by this, right? Especially the city parks and stuff. Those are the
golf courses,
the libraries. Those are my favorite. When I'm like, oh man, what are we doing? In addition to, in fact, my wife works for Kohl's, and they turned the system on out where she works, and they had a rogue sprinkler just dumping water into the parking lot, and people were losing their mind. She's like, it's not. I've called people, but she can't. The city showed up because so many people were calling to try to get Kohl's in trouble. Showed up at Kohl's and was like, the city guy couldn't find the shutoff. Could not find the shutoff. Finally, they got it off, taken care of, and replaced. But it was just dumping water out of.
Yeah. Hey, we love to call other people on the same stuff that we don't do ourselves. Because I bet if I tracked all of those people that were losing their mind back to their houses, let's see if they fall into the category of 2 days
like
a week.
Perfectly green grass. With those.
Oh, 100%. Come on, Ogden. Let's step up and do all of that. So
we're supposed to reduce our water consumption by 10%, which I'm not sure how you measure that, necessarily as a resident. But I think it's easier to just abide by the watering guidelines, and then that'll probably be helpful. Before 10 a.m., after 6 p.m., which you probably should anyway. That should be a no-brainer. 20 minutes per irrigation for pop-ups and 40 minutes for rotors. If we can do that, we're doing pretty good. That'll keep your lawn green twice a week. I think the terrace is only once a week, but twice a week, done.
This water thing is, I mean, you can't just pretend it isn't happening. It just seems to be getting worse. And so the reality is that you got to, I mean, we have to just start doing
I'm
the
pretending
right
it's
thing.
not happening, but it's happening. So
It's happening.
yeah.
And the thing is obviously in the state in particular, like nobody likes to be told what to do. When it comes to drinking, we like to tell people what to do. But for the most part, people don't like being told what to do. But
Tell me how to
I
live
mean,
my
that's what
life.
it's going to come down to one day. You're just not going to have your water. Sorry, you go to turn something on, it's not going to be there for you.
No water.
It just
Vegas
seems like
is
these
not
things are
looking
worse.
pretty either. Vegas, Lake Mead's drying up. They're
No,
finding all
Lake
the dead
Mead's-
bodies in Lake Mead.
Yeah,
So-
my mom was telling me all about that.
Yeah.
Found another one.
Found another
like
one.
old school mafia.
70s hit.
in a barrel.
Or 80s, yeah. They said, well, the shoes he was wearing
Yeah.
dates to this year in the
Yeah,
70s.
and I'm telling you what, start preparing for these toxic dust storms that are going to happen regularly.
Good times.
Remember we used to have that Great Salt Lake?
Mm.
That is getting lower and lower and lower. Start doing some research on that if you haven't
Yeah.
already, because this is sort of a new reality that we can't necessarily just pretend our way out of. We gotta sort of do what we need to do. We can still do the things we like to do. We just have to do it in a different way.
Yeah, I mean, there's moratoriums on construction and building now. That's like, okay, yeah, like we'll have to do some of those things, and then encourage different types of landscaping. Now, the stuff that we probably should have been doing a long time ago, at least 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay, is the Ivory-Billed Woodpecker extinct?
Yeah, I'm not familiar with that particular woodpecker.
It's
Is it like the Woody woodpecker?
yeah, really is. Except for Woody, I think had some blue on him, right?
Yeah, it was a cartoon too.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's true. Yeah. Okay. The Ivory-Billed Woodpecker is almost certainly extinct. This is from Explorer's Web. We recently published a story about the North American birding's holy grail. Like, birders are like, yeah, you dummies. Like, this is the holy grail of birding. The Ivory-Billed Woodpecker. The last confirmed sighting of this large, loud bird was in 1944.
Holy jeez.
Confined to the swampy forests of America's deep south, the bird disappeared because of intense hunting and habitat loss. Since the last sighting, though, this is where it gets a little, I don't know. It has become perhaps the most iconic lost species in the United States. Professionals and amateurs alike have searched for it. Like Bigfoot, there have been sightings, but no real evidence. So, recently the bird has been back in the news. The U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service declared it extinct in 2021, finally. They're like, oh, it's done. Only for a team of birders to claim they had rediscovered the species. Our findings and the inferences drawn from them suggest an increasingly hopeful future for the Ivory-Billed Woodpecker, they said. They are publishing a paper, and several media outlets, including ours, picked up the story to find there's a problem. They almost certainly have found their bird. There's a problem, question mark? Oh, there's a problem, question mark. They almost certainly haven't found their bird. Haven't found their bird. The 3-year study, using microphones, drone cameras, camera traps, and volunteers, has only managed to come up with a couple of photos so bad, they're Bigfoot photos, essentially, only of the
UFO
bird.
photos.
Yeah. So bad, they were impossible to identify them further than, yep, that is probably a species of a woodpecker, but they don't know what kind. There's one that says a 5-pixel image. The photos are of such poor quality that it almost looks deliberate. I take a lot of wildlife photos, and many of them are awful, blurred, slightly out of focus.
What if those are
underexposed.
like binocular cameras that have like lower res?
Maybe. It says, but I'm not sure I've ever taken a photo quite as poor as these.
Birders got to step up their photo game.
They do. They are completely silhouetted and seemingly consist of 4 or 5 pixels. I spent a good amount of time identifying birds on iNaturalist, because that's as you do.
That's a hot site for birds.
It really, dude, don't mess with birders. And can safely say that these photos would fall in the bottom 1% of terrible images uploaded to this global citizen science database. These new photos are usually presented alongside old photos of the species from 1935, which confuses people who might assume that all the images are from this recent study. Funny enough, the now 87-year-old image is decidedly better quality than the ones taken in 2021. Discounting the photos, we are left with the researchers' word that they saw the iconic species. Unfortunately, hope, passion, and drive have a way of warping what other people see and remember. So it's sad, but Bigfoot's out there somewhere, and Bigfoot is hanging out with the Ivory-Billed Woodpecker.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
In Florida, somewhere. Probably.
So keep an eye out. You see one, you be ready.
Yeah, get with your cell phone.
It'd probably take better pictures than whatever they're using.
Yeah, I don't know what they're using. Okay, I think that's all we got.
That's a funny story.
Ivory-Billed Woodpecker. Quote of the week.
I'm ready for one of those like true crime stories. Really uncover the dirt.
Yeah.
On this woodpecker.
Yeah. Where's the behind the scenes? There's enough about
that.
Bigfoot. We could do it on Ivory-Billed. Today is another opportunity to learn anything you want. That is from Johnny Uzan. Today is another opportunity to learn anything you want.
We should learn how to podcast. I think today's the day.
I'm working on it. It's the video that's killing me today. Absolutely killing me.
It sounds good in my ear holes.
Yeah, it does sound good. Sounds good. Thank you to which we did a sweet podcast on Friday before van sessions where we had interviewed people from Ace, the new magazine.
Oh yes,
and
arts, culture, entertainment.
Yeah, and I threw it up live on like 100 things, and the live audio was weird. So your mic sounded good, Matt's mic sounded good, my mic sounded good, Deanne's and Thane's. I don't know what the hell was going on with theirs. It didn't sound good at all on the live. The recording that the audio recording I have was great. So I had to scoop up that audio,
scrape it together.
Yep.
Put it in a bag.
Put it on the video, re-upload it to YouTube. But I feel bad because if you were watching live, you were probably like, what in the hell? And I know why. I know what happened.
Just so y'all know, that's just because that's how Thane sounds.
That's how
he's got this sort of raspy, faraway voice that you can't always hear. Well, it's a shame you miss his stories. He always has such good stories.
It's there now. It's on our YouTube. So if you go to the Banding Collective, it's on the YouTube, and you can hear about the Monarch building, some local.
This is another reason, y'all, to come check out these events live. Have a seat right next to us if there's room.
Totally can. Yep.
You can curl up Indian style on the rug in front of us.
Yep.
You won't miss a minute.
Nope. Thank you to Banyan One for powering today's 390th episode of the Ogden Outdoor Adventure Show. Listen and subscribe to the Banyan Collective on YouTube. Look for us on Facebook, Instagram, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, thebanyancollective.com, and the Podbean app for Android and iPhones. The show notes with the links. So if you like the worth watching thing that we couldn't show, the link will be there, and you can watch these beautiful people skateboard in a bowl in the middle of the desert. It's pretty cool. That's all up on the website once I post this. So DM us on Instagram if you want to chat with us at Ogden Adventure. This week's Outdoor Jukebox, a little ditty from our friends, imaginary friends.
Oh, nice.
Our imaginary friends on van sessions at the Monarch. This is called Signal. I really dig this one. As John Muir would say, the mountains are calling and we must go.
Let's go.
You've been holding it in. I know because you haven't been yourself. So tell me what you're thinking. It'll hurt more if you say nothing. So turn on your signal, I wanna hear you. Turn on your signal. Turn on your signal, I wanna hear you. Turn on your signal. And I will try signal.